I am
And I am a young
black.
A young black.
Young
A young black
Black equestrian.
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 black equestrian.
Equestrian.
Black equestrian.
Equestrian.
Black equestrian.
I'm a young black equestrian.
I am a young black equestrian.
Welcome to another episode of Young Black Equestrians, sponsored by Black Equestrian Network, a modern-day green book for the black horse industry. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Young Black Equestrians with your hosts, Abriana Johnson
And Caitlin Gooch.
Today we have Tori Bush here today, who is a barrel racer who has overcome many odds. So we are going to hear about that today and celebrate her achievements as well. Welcome to the show, Tori.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Of course. So briefly, just tell us about yourself, kind of where you're located, horses you ride, all that.
Well, my name is Victoria Bush, but everybody calls me Tori, and I'm 15 years old, and I'm a sophomore at MacArthur High School in Lawton, Oklahoma. And I barrel race. And I usually ride a horse named Deuce, but I started riding a horse named Woody not that long ago. So I ride two horses right now.
Nice, nice. And what kind of horses are they?
Deuce is an appendix, is it? Woody just
He's
a quarter horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One's off the track and then the other's just quarter horse, yeah.
Nice.
Ooh.
Nice.
He likes them big.
Yeah. Most appendix are pretty big.
Yeah, he's like 16'3", so he's a big guy.
Yeah, and he still gets down and around those barrels pretty good.
Oh yeah, he's 17 and he's actually like peaking right now. So yeah, it's pretty awesome.
Good. I know a lot of times people say, people try to rush the horses into work and stuff, but they don't peak. Like even jumpers, they're not peaking till like between 10 and 20. So
And he got a late start. I think it was how old? 10. So he got a really late start, and yeah, and he loves his job.
That's probably better for him than not, honestly.
Oh, yeah, he loves it.
So how did you get into horses?
My mom actually enrolled me in lessons to kind of help with my fine motor and gross motor skills and delays, right?
Yeah, she was, and she doesn't know a whole lot about it. No, I don't want to like step in, but she doesn't understand like all the diagnoses that we got. And I never, even as a kid, told her why we were doing things. It was just something we did. But little things popped up. Like when she was a baby, she never sat up. Like you could sit her up and she would just fall right over. And she never really crawled. She did the combat thing. So her, used her elbows to crawl. And just random things kept coming up. Like when she was in daycare, they were like, well, their worst to me is they thought Tori was lazy. She won't do her zipper. She won't do her buttons, and it just kind of one of those light bulbs. And I'm like, wow, I need to go have her tested. And so from that point on, we were like, oh yeah, she's got fine motor delays, gross motor delays, coordination issues. And then we also got another surprise about her vision. I was like, and I'm a therapist, so I was shocked. I was like, I miss all this. And so being a therapist, and I work with occupational and physical therapists, I'd already known about horse riding being an amazing thing to help a lot of like handicapped and autistic children. And I grew up loving horses, never having any opportunities. And so kind of used that and put them together. And so just one of those things.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing that you can advocate for your kid and kind of say, okay, so I don't think she's lazy, but
after I got over being hurt, like,
right.
How can you say that?
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what are some of the challenges you faced, competing at such a high level? I feel like you've been competing for a while.
It was kind of hard for me. Like my trainer had to really kind of help me and kind of, instead of teaching me the more direct and right, she kind of had to come up with different ways to teach me, especially for barrel racing, because sometimes my body doesn't always do what I want it to do. So it's really hard.
Can you give us an example of that? Like, so like one of the alternative ways that you learned how to perfect your craft?
She just kind of like, one of the things I think is, is how she was approaching the barrel, and her, she's given her all this language about how she's supposed to do it. And, she's like, well, Tori should be doing this with her hand and moving it down. And she's like, but I'm going to teach her to what did she say? Like over exaggerate this move to kind of go around it, because she didn't have the strength to kind of slide her hand down and pull in the reins. So she's like, man, I'm just going to have to teach her to go a little wide, and we'll deal with it that way.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it's just her trainer watching the video and going, okay, now let me imagine what it's like and let me see what's going on. And they just kind of take it from there.
It's good that she can take the time to fit your needs.
Yeah, she's been really lucky. And one of the vision things that she doesn't talk about is, I think in the first grade, another big eye opener, the teacher, she called me and said, Tori's crying. I'm trying to get her to copy this stuff from the overhead, and she's not keeping up, and I don't understand why. And so when I went back to talk to one of the therapists, occupational therapists, she was like, well, have you ever taken her to a vision specialist? Well, no. So then we come to find out she has a lazy eye. Images weren't merging the same. Something about the connection and how she saw it. And then when she would go to write it down on paper, she would lose it. So, when you kind of take that into perspective with barrel racing, we're like, she can't even see from a distance. How is she knowing where to approach the barrel, or, how to go into it and when it's there? And, but it's stuff that she can't really explain, because it's just all she's ever known. So she's like, I don't know what to tell you guys. It's just how I've seen it. And so we've always said we'd love to have a pair of glasses and just kind of see what it was like.
Yeah, I understand that for sure. Have you guys had to go through like multiple trainers, or kind of work to find the best fit, or did you kind of land it on the first try?
We didn't land it on the first try.
No, we kind of met. Can I say that we met at the old?
Yeah.
We met the trainer that I have now through my old trainer, actually, because they were friends.
And nothing against her. She was a teenager as well. So it was kind of hard for her to grasp what was going on with Tori. And she would just have her do it over and over and over again, but not really understanding why she wasn't getting it. And the other girl who was older, her name's Angela, but we call her Rodeo Mom. She said, I can tell Tori is an amazing rider. We're putting her on these horses and she's able to stay on, but she's like, things aren't clicking with her. And she just asked, can I take you to a race one day? And
you did?
Yeah, she went.
That is awesome. That's awesome.
What's your favorite thing about horses?
And I really like how you can kind of bond with them. I don't know, like with Deuce, I feel like we're really alike.
They really are.
Like with Tim, he's very dramatic.
Yes, he's very dramatic.
So basically, you're dramatic too.
Yeah, yeah. We call him our princess pony. So Barbie pony, yeah, Barbie horse. Yeah, he's. Give some examples like what he does. He's so quirky.
Well, he doesn't like puddles. Like if there's a puddle, he'll try. Like one time he tried to jump over a puddle because he didn't want to step in it.
My horse is the same way.
My horse like the same thing.
I think their legs get longer. Like their body will go over the puddle, but their legs will be like out to the side.
Oh yeah, he won't like dark mats. Like she can be working him on the track and there was a darker patch of grass and he just decided he needed to jump over it.
Oh my goodness.
I mean, he won't, if it's raining, he won't come out. He'll like poke his head. He has to have all the fans pointed on him like he says. He's something, and he'd like, it like bugs and everything. He just is so dramatic. It's just unreal.
Yeah, he's just rotten.
He's rotten, and we say he's absolutely, but he totally picked her. She was actually very scared of him.
But I mean, those quirks will make you a better rider for sure.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She doesn't realize how much she puts up with. And then when she got on another horse, she was like, wow, he's really not that bad compared to Deuce.
Now, how do Deuce and Woody compare? Is Woody an easier ride or just different?
He's easier in some ways. Like with Deuce, you kind of really have to. It's kind of hard to get him in the pin sometimes, like the way I want. And with Woody, he's a lot easier to me. Like you just kind of have to cock his head and he'll just go. With Deuce, you kind of have to really work to
Fight
get
him.
him. Yeah, to
Fight him.
to get him to go in the way you want to.
Mm-hmm.
And then Woody's not really like a lovable horse. Like he doesn't like being pet or anything. He doesn't like to be messed with. And Deuce is like the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's
Yeah.
interesting. Different personalities for sure, but you can ride them both. That's all that matters.
Mm-hmm.
So how has having and riding horses affected your life? Like, what do you think would have been different if you didn't have him?
Well, growing up, I didn't really have like any sports or anything I was good at. Like we tried like everything, like soccer and cheerleading, and I hated all of it. And it was really hard because I have an older brother who's really athletic and he's just good at like everything he tried.
Mm-hmm.
And so I really like that I have barrel racing and rodeos to kind of like it's something I'm good at and something I really enjoy.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. Yeah. I did a lot of random sports also, but horses, I mean, takes the cake every time. Like that's the only thing that I'm still doing.
Like on the soccer field, she was in the middle of the game and she just walked off. She's like, I'm done. She literally walked off and Dad was the coach and she's just like, I'm done. I don't like this.
That is funny. Yeah, my soccer team was so good. I just volunteered to be a goalie. I never ever really saw the ball. I was just like, good job, guys. You're doing great. Keep it over there. That's so funny. So what vision do you have for your future in the horse industry?
Short term, I really want to do good at NBHA Youth World in Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
And I've really started to like rodeos lately, so I really want to try to go to more rodeos and do good.
Mm-hmm.
And then long term, I want to get a rodeo scholarship, and hopefully, I really like the University of Las Vegas.
Very specific.
Yeah. It's the more diverse university compared to the other ones with rodeo teams I looked at. And the weather's really nice for like practicing and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And, I don't know how to really word this.
She's like, just say, yeah.
I just kind of want to get away from where I've grown up from.
More
Yeah.
experience.
Yeah.
She's like, I want to see something outside of Oklahoma.
But if the opportunity popped up somewhere else, I would of course go there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hey, it's nice to have a plan. This young.
Yeah, she's definitely very goal oriented, very focused. Mm-hmm. Most of our weekends are taken up every single weekend, so she's definitely understands what it takes. It's not something she's just gonna have dropped on her.
Yeah, and that's what we try to tell people with horses. Like, I mean, these other sports, like, make sure you have your cleats, get your jersey, but like with horses, the sheer amount of responsibility that comes with it is like, make sure he doesn't die. Not, like, yeah, like it's like a whole being, like keep this alive. And it's different from other sports.
I know a lot of people don't get it. They're like, your horse has a chiropractor. I'm like, yeah, yes, I've never been to one, but her horse has. But just it's a lot of care and upkeep. So that's why she's riding a second one. She's very well aware that something happens to one, she's got to be able to jump on another. And then we've got 2 other ones that her trainer's working on. So definitely not, like you said, you can't just go out and buy a pair of cleats and like, we're always thinking, can we keep them healthy? What can we do to not wear them down and things like that. So it's a lot of responsibility.
What are you looking at as far as career options?
I actually want to be a nurse.
Ooh, that works. My neighbor is a barrel racing nurse. So
Really?
it happens. Yes.
The only problem she's having is coordinating the colleges that have nursing and college ready. That's something we've been kind of surprised about. That's maybe a little bit limiting as far as, but you know, things can change. She's gone from a vet to a nurse. Who knows? She's got how many more, 3 more years. So
you got time to figure it out.
oh, absolutely.
Caitlin, do you have any questions for her?
I was gonna ask, you mentioned that the trainer's working with 2 other horses. Just thinking long term, do you think you'll want a lot of horses one day?
I don't think I want a lot of horses, but once I'm like older and out of college, I do want some horses so like I can kind of teach barrel racing to like my kids so they'll kind of continue that. So we can have that in the family, because like right now I'm the only person that does that, and I want to continue that.
We're the first persons, and on either side don't own horses, and really, I mean, you know, people are like, oh, we used to have, you know, something, but so yeah, I'm excited because that's, I think, something neat. I said that I hope kind of carries on, and you know, and she can kind of keep going, because it's been, everybody's like, oh, your mom must ride. Nope, no, mom doesn't ride. Mom doesn't. Mom can sit on a horse and go around the trail, but that's about it. So we've talked about it, and I think it'd be something neat that she can pass on and kind of keep that going.
Yeah, the one thing about horses, they usually don't go away.
I don't think so. I don't see that out. I hope not. Yeah. Yeah, we've talked about land and everything like that, because we don't even have horses with us. Like, we're, you know, in the city, and so we've just been lucky with people always surrounding us that have just really thought that she was special enough and that want to help. So very blessed.
Yeah.
Do any of your friends ride horses?
No.
Most of them don't even know she barrel races.
Wow.
What? Why don't you tell them?
Well, they know.
Well, they know now, but it's not anything she's ever really. She's just different. She's very quiet. I'm like, you're pretty bad at this, aren't you? I'd be like, I'd be posting it all over. And she's like, oh no, Mom, never know.
Yeah, because you are doing great. I saw the last video
Thank you.
that your mom posted, and we were talking about it this morning. Just a minute.
Yep. And I think it's so funny. I think that it might be like a quality of horse people. Like, if your horse friends are not, or if your friends are not already horse people and you know they don't understand, it's like,
that's kind of her.
like, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, I'm busy, but you know, I only have like a show to do, like a rodeo. And thinking back, like, only my family was at my horse shows. I didn't invite my friends.
No, she doesn't either.
Sometimes to rodeos, but not really.
Yeah. That's
She
just
just got around to doing rodeos because just with the vision thing, the night, her eyes just going, you know, when you're going from being dark and then all of a sudden in the light. But she's finally kind of worked around that and got over that fear. So now she enjoys rodeos. Before she was like, I don't want to do them. And now she feeds off the crowd. Don't let her tell you otherwise.
So what are some suggestions or some advice you can give to someone who's having, you know, physical difficulties, or, you know, having to overcome something to become a better rider?
I would say you really have to work hard and kind of push through it, because it is really hard, and I had to kind of figure out, you know, like, you can't just give up. You know, you gotta
Her mom's a bad guy sometimes.
Yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah, and you kind of have to realize that the people like around you are just trying to help you, you know, because at first, like, I didn't want to listen to her.
Not at all. And definitely, I think one of the big things is, I think a lot of people assume that, you know, this is something that kind of fell into her lap, or she just instantly found the perfect barrel horse and the perfect just everything. And I think you telling them that's why I say you need to tell your story, not just to the background of the issues that you face, but also people realizing that you can build up to something. And just tell them how you started.
My first horse, actually I remember, can I tell you about how Dad was in Chicago? Okay, so my first horse, I remember talking about it, and she finally agreed to it, but she was like, you have to save up half. And actually, my dad was in Chicago at the time, so I remember calling him all excited about how Mom said I could get a horse. And she didn't tell him anything about it, but
I was like, I'll wait till Dad can tell, but hey.
yeah. And so my trainer at the time, she got this horse, and he wasn't anything special, but he was really sweet. But he's kind of slow, and he didn't know anything about barrels, but he was really good at the time for me. And then we actually ended up losing him to cancer.
Oh, okay. He was a neat horse. We only had him for about 1.5 years. But he was amazing. God, he was awful as far as teaching you anything. He was the horse that wanted to just walk. And so she was trying to learn to trot with him, and it was a constant battle. Like he wanted to be loved on, and he wanted to be given treats, and that's the extent of it. And about 1 year into it, we found out he had cancer in his eye, and we did surgery. We removed it because they said if we removed it, he'll stand a really good chance. But it actually made it worse, and then it spread to his bone. But what I told her, as I said, people, I think it's important to share because, she didn't start out with a perfect horse by any means. I mean, he was horrible when we first got him. He was skinny and bony, and her first trainer actually kind of rescued him from a situation, but he was gorgeous as far as a horse. He just wasn't anything special. And, I said, I think it's important for people to understand that, sometimes you have to work for something, and it's not even going to go the way you planned, because she, after that, got another horse, Buttercup, that was awesome, but also stubborn.
Yeah, she really made me really work for stuff.
She would rather run her into a fence than go anything faster than a trot. Like she literally would go to the fence and try to run her.
Oh my goodness.
But she worked through it, and that's what I told her. I said, I think that's really neat, because how many horses until you got to your first barrel horse? 3?
Yeah, 3
horses. So, and it was just, she would put more time into them, so they would be better, doing parades. And so, she built them up to better horses so that when we sold them, they could do a lot more things. And then so it allowed us eventually to work up to her first barrel horse.
That's good. What, I don't know if we've asked, what made you choose barrel racing over all of the other disciplines?
You did play days.
Yeah, I actually started out with play days.
Have you
What
guys
does that mean?
No.
It's like a bunch of different games. So it's like
what you do with your horse?
Yeah.
Oh, pony club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's like poles, there's like and barrels, and a bunch of different other games that you do. And I did that for I think 2 years.
2 years. Yeah.
2 years. And then once we kind of got the trainer I have now, that's when I really started barrel racing. And she took me to my first barrel race, so that's why I started.
Go ahead and tell them why you liked that first barrel race. What got her hooked?
Oh, because I won money at my first barrel race.
She actually got 2 checks, and she was like, we're at the play days. I think you got
well, not even at the play days. Like, you only got stuff at finals, which was like trophies and medals. And if you got first, you got a buckle. But I actually got my first buckle from pole bending there.
Yeah.
Nice.
But
Well, it seems
with
like
the money. Don't let her tell you otherwise. She liked those 2 checks she got.
Yeah, the first time your horse wins you money, it's like, finally, you are worth something.
The funny thing is her trainer kept saying, don't, hey, that's beginner's luck. Don't get used to this, And then I think it was maybe not until your 5th race before she actually didn't want to check. And then, yeah, she was devastated.
Wasn't it when I started riding dues?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that first, my trainer told me I have to work if I wanted to start riding, a barrel horse. So we had this horse named Barney. He was pretty good, but you really had to push him. But he was good. He was a good, like, horse to learn barrels on.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I know winning money is like that changes the game.
Yeah, like she can have what she thinks is not a great run, and we all joke about that, about her not so great runs usually have won her the most money. So yeah.
Hey, if it goes like that, then just keep going.
Yeah.
Do you rewatch any of your old runs?
I do, to kind of see. I usually watch them to see what I need to work on, and usually after I run, we kind of go back with my trainer. We usually go back and watch them and slow them down and see what needs to be worked on for next time.
Mm-hmm.
We laugh about her really old videos, though.
Yeah.
Like,
can you see a lot of improvement in them?
Well, that's great.
I think one of her first ones on Deuce, we were joking around that he kind of bounced off all the walls.
Yeah, and Woody. It was his name.
Oh, her first time with Woody was pretty.
Well, yeah, I was supposed to. It was at a junior high rodeo, and I was supposed to ride Deuce, but he ended up coming up hurt the night before, so I had to ride Woody, and I barely rode him before, and so when I ran him, I bounced off all the walls. It was not pretty at all.
Oh, but did you win a check?
No, not on that. We were trying to find something positive. Hey, you stayed in the saddle. You didn't fall off. But her time actually was almost as good as her trainer's time on the horse, but it just was horrendous on video. And she's always been a person that she just wants everything to look just right. She's like, one of her things, if people are going to stare at me, then I need to give them a reason to watch me next time.
It's just I feel like if I do bad, that just proves them right, that I can't ride. Mm-hmm. So that's why I'm really hard on myself.
Yeah, I can understand that. I feel like it's a horse person quality as well. Perfectionism, and especially when you compete.
Definitely. Yeah. She's got an edge to her that she doesn't acknowledge, but yeah, she's
competitive. You want to be the best, and whether you're competing with someone else or just competing with your last run, it's important to acknowledge where you came from so that you continue to improve.
And one of the unique things, and we don't know a lot about English, but I think in barrel racing, just like her race yesterday, there's no lines or clear distinctions if you're a pro barrel racer or not. They don't keep it unless you go to a pro rodeo. Other than that, there's no guidelines as to what level they can be at. So she's up against yesterday quite a few. Even the lady that was in her drag with her, those 5 had been to the national finals rodeo the year in December, so there she is with her, so it's, it's sometimes hard for her to keep that in perspective, that some of these women are obviously pros, and, and she didn't grow up on a horse or anything, and none of us can help her. So she needs to give herself a lot more credit sometimes.
Yeah. We were just talking about earlier, after we watched your video, like the process and how to get to the NFR, or for people who aspire to do that. And because I wasn't sure how that worked initially, but looking it up on their website, looks like you just attend rodeos in their tour.
Yeah, nonstop.
Yeah, like pretty much as much as you can, because it's off of your earnings.
Yep.
Throughout the year, and then whoever has the highest earnings gets to go to the NFR.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. It's very intense. A lot of people ask her if that's something that she's aspiring for, and she'll tell them flat out,
no.
It's just most girls that do it, they have a lot of a team, I guess you could say, a team, somebody's driving the horses to the next rodeo, and you may be catching up on sleeps, and people just think, oh, you just kind of go around the nation, and it's so much more than that, and she'll tell you, I want a life. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really like the constant traveling.
Yeah. I was looking at the locations, and we were like, what is AB? What state is AB? And then I was like, oh wait, that's Canada.
Yes. Yeah.
Very-
That's a big one. I think that's Calgary, isn't it? Is Calgary out in Canada?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. So I can see how that's literally like your job. Like that's a job. That's lifetime commitment. This is what you're going to do for the entire year.
Now, the lady that she was in the 5, because they were taking them in 5s, the pro barrel racer that she was up, she literally drove in from Arizona that night and was there the next morning competing. She went to a pro rodeo out in Arizona, and so I'm like, and that's her life. Tori's like, she likes to sleep a little bit. So.
I like to sleep a lot.
This girl can fall asleep on a dime in the trailer, let me tell you.
Yeah, I completely agreed. But that's good. I think it's still admirable to have goals with your horse and it not necessarily be like, I want to go to the highest level competition ever. I just read an article about that, but it was a jumper article, and the title was like, I don't think I'm gonna jump any higher than 3 feet, and I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
It's all right, not to want to go like extend yourself all the way up, but I think that's where you have to look at just competing with yourself and not with other people, because as long as you do better than your last run, you're doing great.
Definitely. And she's just now getting to where I think she's, I don't know, she's confident. You're really confident. Like there's more confidence now. So that's been fun. That's been fun to watch. And I think we've talked about too, like her other thing is like, she likes sharing it with little kids. Like that's her thing. She loves putting little kids on a horse for the first time. And so, I said maybe with the therapy side and all that, maybe eventually that can mesh somewhere.
Yeah, that's what Caitlin does.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I got a mini horse kind of for that reason. He's like the spitting image of the horse that I ride. Well, so that was the first reason.
That's neat.
The second reason was like, okay, well, he's actually, got a calmer demeanor. Like he's not one of those minis that just want to like because you were walking past.
Yeah, mostly demons. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, lately, like this 2-year-old year, I don't even know what is happening, but we're gonna work on it. We're gonna work on getting this whole quarantine thing was not doing well for him, but we're gonna get back to decent behavior. But yeah, letting little kids see him, and it's like low risk because I don't have to put them on him. He's small.
That's small.
So they get to see a horse without actually like, oh, can I ride? Like, no, because he's small, guys. And still having that experience. And we see old people too, and they do things, increase their fine motor skills as well, braiding his hair, brushing them, things like that. So I think that's a very admirable sector to go into.
I love it. We've talked about it. So we'll have to see.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, Caitlin, do you have any other questions for her?
What message would you give to your older self? Like if you, just in case one day you come back to watch this interview, what's something you want to say to your older self?
I would say, I don't know. I can't just say have fun.
Yeah, you really can. Have fun. I'm like, I think sometimes she's very serious and stuff, and I think now she's really starting to take in a lot of just the whole atmosphere of stuff and really kind of enjoying it more, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We have a really neat kind of what we call like a rodeo family, so I'd say probably just have fun. And I'm just thankful because I think for most 15-year-olds, mom and daughters, it's like typically you may have some things in common, but not a lot. And we're shoved in a small trailer most weekends. And so we've had some really laughable, fun experiences off of it. And she's got a great, I hate to say trainer. She just really calls her rodeo mom, and her name's Angela. But I think she's really starting to realize that it can be fun and things don't always have to turn out perfect, and it still can be rewarding. So
Yeah.
She's getting it now.
It takes some time.
Oh, definitely. And like you said, I think it's just a personality of people when you get with horses and when you decide to compete, there's a certain common personality there. And you're just always wanting to fix something.
Mm-hmm. What advice would you give to other people who are aspiring to be barrel racers?
I would say you really have to work your way up and you have to really work hard because it's not as easy as it looks. And well,
I don't know. I think one of her biggest things is just like we said, everybody just kind of assumes she bought that perfect barrel horse, and it's just, just with her first experience of her first horse having to be, put down, a lot of people are like, for a lot of people that would have been the end, but there was just something there. And I think as long as people understand, sometimes it's never going to be easy and it's never going to be perfect and it's never going to go the way you planned. Just to keep pushing forward. And that's what she's had, an amazing ability to kind of adapt, I think. And that's probably a big thing. And she gotta be willing to adapt. And she's very shy. So she's had to come out of her shell. And it's just hard for her sometimes to ask for help or some feedback, but that's been our greatest tool, I think, is outsiders giving advice or different ways of trying things or different approaches. So get some good people around you. And we didn't even know any of these people. It was just kind of immersing ourselves in it and always just being there, and it's just, I think one thing about the horse community is more often than not, there's people that want to help. And that's been one of our biggest blessings. Sorry, why? Hey, sorry, he heard one more.
He can probably hear my dog. He sounds big.
He's a huge baby. He's actually supposed to be a bully, I think. But he doesn't look like one.
Oh my goodness. That was
overweight and big, but she adores him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Do you have any other pets?
We have another dog named Stormy. Oh, and we have a goat that stays with the horses.
Oh.
She kind of acts like a horse.
Oh, that's adorable. What's the goat's name?
Sugar.
Sugar the goat.
Oh, my goat.
We bought her as a companion for one of the horses, and she ended up being a bigger baby than the horses. Like they say they could have a companion, and they put them in the stall, and she cried nonstop the first place we took her, and so she's just now just part of the horse herd, and she just roams around with the horses.
Hey, if they accept her, then by all means, go out there.
Oh yeah, it's like they freak out at everything, but for some reason they've never freaked out at her. No.
Oh, that's really good. That's really good. All right, well, tell the people where to find you, all of your socials and your rides and things like that, and your sponsors and all that.
Okay, so my Facebook is Tori Bush Brow Racer, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then that's it for social media.
Yeah, she's been very limited with the social media.
And then for sponsors, I have to read off of this so I don't forget them. So, Rowdy Rubbish, Delicious Horse Treats, Horseshoe R Arena, Shining Spur Stables, Barrel Horse Outfitters, with Dragon Mules, Custom Tack, Broken P Designs, and Rider Buckle.
Nice.
She's been amazingly blessed with some sponsors, and it was all just really, some of it's been off of an article that was shared in Black Reins magazine, and in others they've just seen her ride and they just want to be a part.
That's great.
Yeah, and her trainer's been amazing. Angela Kirkhoff, she's been amazing. One of her very first sponsors was because of her. So she got custom shirts and everything, and Tori's always been about standing out like from head to toe. So good, really neat stuff, some good sponsors, and we've had one of hers blessed us with the ability to take a second horse to Youth World Finals in Georgia.
No, I thought it was for the American Horse.
No, that's a different one. Yeah. And then another one wants her to enter in this big event called the American, and they qualifier. So they've agreed to pay a very stout entry fee for her. But so it's things like that keep pushing her, and she realizes that a lot of people believe in her sometimes more than she gives herself credit for. So
yeah, well, we believe in you too.
We're excited and we appreciate it, and I'm just ready for the summer. This virus kind of put us out of commission for 2 months.
Yeah.
About 2 months. So right now she's making up for lost time. We did 4 events last week, and now we're going to get rain all week. So
Were you able to go to your barn during this time, or just not going to rodeos?
I was able to go see the horses, but like we didn't really have anywhere that was dry to practice. It was hard.
Yeah. Well, at least you got to go out and check on them.
She kept them exercised and everything, but just with barrel racing, it's just tiny little things constantly, and so when you're not able to actually go into a race and put that all, it just kind of, I don't want to say it set her back though, because we've been amazed at what she's been doing with all these races. So we had one race with their first gray horse where she just laughed and said, "Let's just go," after it was done. But but she's been doing pretty good. Yeah.
Well, that's good. Well, thank you so much for taking time out of your day today, your Memorial Day. Hopefully we didn't take you away from any good food that's happening.
No, not yet.
Well, all right. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day, and we will let you know when this episode's going to go live.
Awesome, you guys, and we appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Have a great night.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to another episode of Young Black Equestrians. Be sure to head over to our social media pages and let us know what you thought about this episode. And I will have to let you guys know this is the last episode of season 3, y'all. We will go on a 2-week hiatus, and we will be back in August for all new content, all new episodes, and more surprises for you guys. Thank you so much for rocking with us throughout this entire season and all the amazing things that have been happening over the last few months. Stay tuned to our social media. We're going to do some lives. We're going to do some discussions until season 4 launches, and it is going to be a fantastic time. If you have any questions, let us know. If you have somebody or something you want to talk about or see, let us know. And until then, we will see you on the flip side. See you guys in August.